What's up, baby?
Turkey killing mofos. Hey, you a professional now.
You got her? Heck yeah, man. That's awesome, dude. Hell yeah.
Storytelling in regards to hunting and fishing has gone back hundreds of thousands of years.
Yeah.
Literally on the rock walls of our nation.
Push it.
Yes, sir.
What you doing, Brandon?
Go. By the way, your nipples are already wet.
I just shot probably one of the most epic scenes, like, probably ever. These two monster bugs got after it, and it was so cool.
That's about like what you want it to look like. Cover it.
Oh, he's so handsome.
That's a big deer, Megs.
He's big. He's a big boy. That's talking whitetail.
That's what I'm talking about, baby.
Holy crap.
Look at those hooves.
Everybody wants to be a turkey hunter until it's time to do turkey hunters.
What's up, guys, and welcome to another episode of the Tejas Hunt Club Podcast. I'm your host, Brandon and Meagan, and tonight we're sitting down with Mr. Chance Frankie of Elevated Flight. And we've been going back and forth on Instagram, as like just most of our guests we do. That's where we meet, or on Facebook. But he actually went to school with Meagan and grew up with her in the same town. They did FFA and all that kind of stuff together. So wanted to get him on the podcast because he's been killing some ducks, killing some coyotes, bobcats, chasing hogs. He does a little bit of everything like we kind of do here at Tejas Hunt Club. So wanted to get him on the podcast, just, talk a little bit of hunting, get some hunting stories, and just hear his story of how he's been going through the outdoors. And Chance, welcome to the podcast. I'll let you give yourself a little intro about what you do, how you got into the outdoors, that kind of deal, and we'll roll on from there, man.
Yeah, guys, thank y'all guys for having me. Like you said, I grew up with your wife, and so there's a history right there. So I always followed y'all since y'all started.
Heck
So
yeah.
it's pretty neat to see it come full circle like that, But yeah, no, man, I'm down here on the Gulf Coast, reside right here in Angleton. So most of our hunting stuff we do down here is all on the Gulf Coast, on the coastal region, and we do travel from time to time.
You kind of get into a little bit of everything. You have that opportunity like down on the Gulf Coast, because I always give Meagan shit, and I always tell her like, she's from East Texas, just because I say like if you're east of 45, like that's East Texas.
Oh yeah.
Because I grew up in Goliad, which is what I consider South Texas. It's right where South Texas starts and kind of the coastal bend ends, because we're like 45 minutes from saltwater, like the little bays and creeks and stuff that run back their way, and like Bayside and like Refugio, all that way. But like we're still right on the edge of some pretty good deer country and all that kind of stuff. So you can kind of get into a mix of everything. And like when I moved up to College Station, and even over here too, I got people like, oh man, hey, I got this cool little bass pond, or, we can go chase like perch or something like that. And I'm like, look, man, I grew up close enough to the coast that I only like chasing redfish and trout and stuff like that. So catching bass, don't get me wrong, like it's kind of cool, but it's nothing like hooking up on a red. That's my favorite.
No, you're right. And then, my parents are from Houston, so they're from the inner city, Bel Air and the South Side. So I had moved down to Rose Sharon when I was 6 years old. So I ain't know nothing about the salt water, the seawater, growing up, nothing about that. And as I got older, going through school, the boys were like, hey, let's go fishing, and then we'd end up out at the river, Oyster Creek and Bass Drop. And then that's how I fell in love with saltwater fishing. And then, I do like to dabble a little freshwater fishing here and there with my dad. Will want to go to Lake Fork somewhere, or he'll want to go to Fayetteville. And it's always fun to, and there's, to me, between saltwater and freshwater fishing, freshwater fishing is pretty tough. You got to find what they want. Saltwater fishing is tough too, but if I got to go catch a redfish, I'm gonna go catch me one somewhere.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, I can go
You can
find
go
one
find
somewhere.
them.
I can't always go catch a bass.
Dude,
I
I
can't
know.
always go catch a bass.
I like seeing the clips and when they have those guys that are do like the Major League Bass fishing and stuff like that when they're
Yeah.
winning and they bring in this big bass and like or like when they hook up on one real good on the boat.
Yeah.
I like watching those videos. Don't get me wrong, I love it because the commentary and what they're saying is hilarious every single time.
Oh yeah, no, it's actually a fun time. Oh yeah, but that's how started out really fishing because as a
Yeah,
kid you couldn't really go hunt nowhere, you couldn't have no gun nowhere, so it's you and your buddies going to ponds around town, and then you start fishing, and then you start seeing hogs and coyotes along the way, and then you
yeah,
starting to hunt as you get older. But really fishing started it all, I guess.
nice.
Just
Yeah.
being in the outdoors, always fishing.
For sure, because don't get me wrong. Like growing up as a little kid, there's nothing like you said, just running to those rivers and creeks and stuff, and being able to
Yeah,
see
no, for
different
sure.
animals and raccoons and possums and everything else. And I
Yeah,
think that's what a lot of I don't know, don't get on a soapbox, but that's what a lot of kids like now don't get the opportunity to do all the time. Like
oh,
I,
you're
I grew up
100% right.
I grew up in Goliad, right? But I mean, it's a small town, but my house where I grew up, like I could throw a rock from my backyard and hit the courthouse. Like I was like
Shit.
smack
Yeah.
dab in the middle of town. And all my friends lived outside of town, but like I was close enough to like there was a hike and bike trail behind my house that
Yeah.
went from like it started right there and then it goes like along the San Antonio River and then it'll take you all the way out to the missions actually, like on the south end of town. And like people
Yeah.
go through that. It's pretty cool. But like along there, like I don't know who did it or whatever, but like along there, along the hike and bike trail, they like didn't put in a guardrail and they would be like game trails and stuff that would go down to the San Antonio River. So I was a real like little 7, 8, like that's where I was going. And I had like my two dogs. I had my two dogs with me, which weren't freaking weren't hunting dogs at all.
Yeah.
But like we would go down the river and walk along the river and see raccoons and all that kind of stuff and squirrels and chase everything, and like that's how you get into the outdoors. Like it wasn't necessarily
you're absolutely correct.
going and killing an animal for me. It was just going out there, being there.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool.
No, you're absolutely right. Yeah. I grew up in Rocheron, so it was all country. There wasn't much out there. And like I said, riding the canal banks, I'd saddle a horse up. I grabbed 4 or 5 dogs with me, and my mom being a dog trainer, which I train dogs now. So I was always around any different types of breeds of dogs, mainly shepherds and Dobermans and stuff at that time when I was little.
Okay,
But
that's
we
pretty cool.
always had dogs with us. But I'd go out there, try to spend all day long, pack me a little pack, have a 22 little pistol stuffed in my saddle, and I didn't tell my dad that I got it.
Yeah.
I'm little. I'm like 10 years old out there, think I'm hunting, and it's time to spend the whole day out there. But just riding the countryside, being out in the outdoors, and I'm grateful that my daughter is trying to grow up in the same lifestyle that I have. So she likes to fish and hunt, and anytime that I go hunting, it's dang near a knockdown, drag out fight to get out of the house. She's crying to me, and she wants to go every single time I go. There ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it. No matter what I'm doing.
Man. Yeah, no matter what you're doing. Yeah, we got to take Haston this past season out to the lease that we had and go hunting with him. And then the last time we got out, I took him with me because Megan wanted to shoot a buck, and I took him with me and got to sit in the stand with him and all that kind of stuff. So he fell asleep in the stand. I took a gun. I took a gun with me, but like I wasn't planning on shooting nothing unless something cool really popped out, or if there was a doe or something. But we had Megan to wind up shooting that buck, so we were good. So it was just cool to sit there, just watch deer and just chill with him and just not even worry about anything. It was a pretty neat deal to get to do that. But yeah, I can see it coming where I'm going to be leaving. And he's like, what do you mean I'm not going?
Oh, I know it. Oh, man.
Yeah. And I'm sure it sucks telling them no when they can't go,
Yeah, no. Yeah, you're right. They get over it.
Oh, yeah.
And then where's mom? And the next thing you know, they're in there painting their fingernails. Oh, you just forgot about me that quick.
Yeah. But it makes the times when they can't go pretty cool for sure. But
no.
you said your mom was a dog trainer, and she started out with like shepherds and stuff. Was that like, how long had she been doing that? Was she doing that like prior to having you, or when did she get in it?
Oh yeah, when she was 16 years old, she went to a place called Man's Best Friend as a kennel technician, which is a glorified dog pooper upper, picker upper.
Yeah.
And don't tell her that 'cause she gets mad when I call her a kennel technician. But yeah, she did that when she was 16, got involved with dogs. She's always been around animals her whole life, which is where I get my love for it.
Yep.
And she's been training dogs ever since, man. She worked there for a long time, my whole childhood. So I was about, I think, 17 or 18 years old. And then she started her own business, working for herself, which is,
Yeah.
you know, everybody in the whole community growing up, my mom was a dog lady. If they had a dog
Yeah.
question, needed to find a puppy, a certain breed or what it was, or call Chance's mom. Call Chance's mom.
Yeah.
Chance's mom will know. So I kind of rode her coattail into this, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Just always being around dogs my whole life. And the same thing with my daughter. Like every dog that I train, she can handle them too, which is the same way my mom did me when I was little. She
Yeah.
would train a dog, have me work it, kid proof it with me. So I always had this ability with animals, especially with dogs.
Yeah.
It just kind of happened. But yeah, she's been doing it a long time. Between me and her, it's like 45 years
Dude,
experience.
that's pretty cool. So yeah, I'm guessing y'all do more obedience. You said it sounds like
Yeah,
what you said with the different breeds and stuff like
yeah,
that. Like,
yeah,
man, I've always wondered. I've never talked to anybody that was I mean, I've, of course, talked to the guys that do just duck dog stuff and
yeah,
stuff like that. But like, and I know there's an obedience factor into it, but most of the time they're not handling, you know, any kind of anybody's pet per se.
yeah, yeah.
Not necessarily a working dog. And I've always been around working dogs, either Catahoulas, blackmouth curs, stuff that had a job. And I've never really been fond of like pet dogs because most of the time people don't train them and give them obedience. But like,
Yeah.
what I guess like how is it training a dog that necessarily may not necessarily have like, I guess, the drive or like I guess you see the like the want to please its owner like you would see from like a working dog? Or if I'm just all the way off, just tell me that.
I mean, it really just depends. I mean, sometimes it's all, sometimes you'll get an owner that doesn't need a working dog, and
Yeah.
they're wondering why their dog's chewing their couch up, and they think they got a broken dog. No, you just got a GSP, you know.
Oh, dude. Poor
You don't
GSP.
got
Poor GSPs, man. Poor GSPs, man.
I train all breeds. Nothing against the breed. I train all breeds. But you can put a GSP, a weenie dog, and a Frenchie in the same category. But I mean, hey, and some will make you look great. Some will make you like the
Yeah.
best trainer in the world, and some will really make you work for it. And and it comes down to breeding and temperament and stuff like that, and how they're brought up and what age I get them at. But you know, but if you try to take a pet dog or from a pet home, which I mean, they all kind of come from somewhere. But like when I look for a gun dog, I'm looking for a working line.
Mm-hmm.
Most people and you can usually evaluate that at the beginning. If they got the drive or the want to fetch or to want to even. I mean, my mother-in-law's got a Catahoula, and he come from working line, but I bet if you did something with him, he wouldn't know what to do. Just,
Yeah.
and you can classify him as a pet home,
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it really just varies between breeds, and when I started training dogs, I thought it was black and white. I thought there was one way to do it. Dogs had one personality, and that's not the case. Uh, Dogs are like people. You got people, you got some that make straight A's, you got some that make C's, D's, and you got some that barely get by, and some that just can't get right. I
Yeah.
mean, that's how it is. And once you learn that, you learn how to approach each dog with what they're going to give you through what makes them their personality, you know. And
Yeah.
and that's how you kind of evaluate, man, this dog ain't going to be a good gun dog, or this dog isn't going to be a good protection dog, or he's not going to be, you know, a Cane Corso is not going to be a big good family dog for you because this one's too hyper, but you can get some that are out of the same litter that are laid back, Jack,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So it's how you pick your puppy too, man. You know, like growing up with my mom, I can't tell you how many litters of puppies I've been to playing with puppies while she picked one out. You
Yeah.
know, growing up, like fuck, you know, it's crazy. So when I
Yeah.
pick out my puppies, I'm doing the same thing. I'll spend an hour on the ground throwing the ball, you know, seeing how they retrieve it or seeing if they got the one to bring, you know, just studying them.
Yeah.
And sometimes you make a great choice, sometimes you make a bad one,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know. And
100%.
I will say, pick of the litter ain't always the best one.
Yeah, I mean, we've got, well, now 3 Catahoulas. I had the first 2 Shadow and Case, and like by no means am I like obviously not a dog trainer. I hunt with them a little bit. They're more meat dogs. They're like whatever I put them on because I worked them on cows and
Yeah,
stuff for that. But like Shadow, she's hard headed. She's kind of a little bit of a bitch, like because I kind of raised
yeah,
her that way. But like I remember when I first picked her up, the guy I got her from, he had a whole litter. It was about like 6 or 7, and I can't remember exactly what happened, but like 4 of them wound up dying. And he was like, "Hey man, if you want to, you can wait. I'll have another litter. You can pick one out of there, or I have these 2 left." And I was like, "Well, let me see." And he sent me 2 pictures of her, a picture of her, and then the other one that he had. And I just liked the way that her face looked. And I was like, you know what?
yeah,
I'll go look at him. And we drove from College Station. I met him at the Walmart parking lot in Hallettsville, Texas. And
yeah,
I walked up. He had him in a kennel in the back of his truck. And I walked up to the kennel, and one of them started growling, just like growling. And the other
yeah,
one was like sitting in the corner. So I opened it up, and it wound up being Shadow. And she's just like looking at me, just growling and like bouncing back and forth. And I'm like, okay, I think I like that one. And I wound up getting her, and it's, dude, she's gonna be the best dog. I mean, she's taught me so much.
yeah,
Some good stuff, some bad stuff. You know, it's just you learn as you train them and do stuff with them. But like, man,
yeah,
it's I love doing anything hunting with her for sure.
yeah. I got my black lab Reed. We were hunting. I think this was 2018. We were hunting out at the bay in Christmas Bay. We were shooting redheads with the buddies, and birds are sinking and swimming. We can't keep up to them. The wind's blowing them away. And I remember calling my mom after we got to the truck, and I'm like, I need a dog. Find me a lab. And she called me about 3 days later. Hey, I got you one. I'm like, oh, I meant like, you know, a couple of months down the road. Not 3 days
Yeah.
later. So I'm like, shit. So she brings me this puppy right before Christmas time, and she brought him to me. I set him down on the ground. I took a little toy and I threw it, and he went right and grabbed it and brought it right back to me. I said, "Oh shit!" And that dog right there started my whole career, my whole dog training career. I mean, I already knew how to handle a dog from being with my mom, her doing what she did and what she's taught me through the years. But genetics, that dog taught me everything I knew about a gun dog. You know, we learned together, but I read that
Yeah.
Water Dog book. I read Water Dog. Well, I didn't even read Water Dog. I went to the pictures. I read the figure, read the diagram, went and cut a T in my yard in the grass and did all the drills. And man, he was automatic. Whistle work, oh, hand signals, and that's what started my dog training career right there was him. But he's a meat. Oh, I guide with him too, so that's the main thing about obedience. And it's not just with gun dogs, with all dogs. It's our bread and butter at what we do, you know, because there's, you know, the population where we live at, there's so many dogs around the area, and gun dogs take a little more time to get refined, and we have a 1 month board and train program, so we're doing all types of dogs all the time. So you
Yeah.
see different temperaments, you see different breeds, and but obedience is something that every dog needs to have. And his obedience was so good, and that was my demo dog. So when I started out, I would do videos of them out in the yard, in the park. I go work him, and people would see, and they go, hey, and then I got business off of it. And even in the field, when I'm out guiding, I mean, I sell puppies off of him. I sell training programs off of him because they go, man, I need one of those. And I was like, not every dog is going to be one of those, but we can get you close to it,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
But and that's the thing that you mentioned earlier about you know, not every gun dog trainer wants the obedience part, and I completely understand why, you know, keeping that drive alive. But and it's just like whatever your hunting environment is, however you hunt, if you're a meat hunter, if you're with the family on the weekend. My particular case is I'm a guide, so I got to have a cool, calm, collected dog on his P's and Q's all the time, not zipping up and down the blind, getting y'all wet.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's got his own spot, stays there. They don't even know he's there.
Yeah.
And so that's where that obedience came in handy with him, and
Oh,
what
yeah.
I do with my training program. You know, um,
I 100% agree, because like where I saw him, like my first dog men, I guess you call them, you know, came from like the cattle side. So like
yeah,
cur dogs, some kelpies, some stock dogs, you know, border collie, stuff like that. So like
yeah,
having a handle on a dog was always like
exactly.
something that was pretty important. Like there's nothing like we, you know, going to work
Yep,
cows or stuff like that and got a whole line of dogs and they're just trotting out in a straight line together, and then you whistle and then they all take off and go do their job. Or
yeah.
watching border collies sort and do all
Oh,
that,
it's
like
badass.
having a handle on a dog. And you know, like you said, for some guys hunting styles, like that's not gonna work, you know,
Yeah,
especially like if you're like running hog dogs or something like that. You
yeah,
kind of want them to get out and go, but I mean,
yeah,
some dogs can do both. It's just
yeah,
however you set up your breeding and what kind of
yeah,
dogs you pick and all that kind of stuff. But yeah,
yeah.
having a handle on a dog is, I love it.
Yeah, my lads, like my mom's got this little pet pig at the house, and this pig just showed up about a week ago from out of nowhere. And I took them labs over there, and I go, if they get a whiff of that pig, I mean, you can put my two dogs on anything, cows, hogs, coyotes, they'll hunt anything. Them two labs, and they got a handle on them. And they took off running out to the pasture, and they got about 10 feet from that pig. And I said, get out, and they cut back.
Mm-hmm.
Now I also got cur dogs and hog dogs myself too, and none of them know shit. All they know is how to get out, get ahead. You
Yep,
know,
yep.
sometimes I spend hours chasing one or two of them, trying to get them back in the buggy. You know,
Yep,
so
yep, and that's
so
just like you said, some of the personalities.
yeah, and you know, I don't even try to do no obedience with them dogs. You know, except my bulldogs, I do. You know,
Yeah,
I make them mine, but my other dogs, no, I don't make them sit or down or anything. My inside dogs and my personal dogs and my guide dogs, yeah. Oh yeah, they all mine. You
yeah,
know, give you a story. I was at Bucky's here in town. This is a few years ago, and I had two labs, my wife's Aussie, the little half Yorkie, and a blue heeler in the back of the truck. And this lady goes, how'd you get them dogs of mine like that? I said, when your daddy told you not to put your hand in that light socket, how many times did you do it? Once, and you got your butt whooped. And then they always learn. You know, they've always, and that's the best thing you can do, like through your training program, or you know, if you are a new dog owner, is take your dog with you as many places as you can, as
yep,
often as you can. Expose them to real world distractions, socializations. That way they've seen everything. You know, it ain't their first gas station, or ain't their first time to Tractor Supply, or ain't their first time to the blind, or ain't their first time to go through deer feeders.
yep,
Whatever you're doing, take them. Like if people ask about shed dogs all the time, I was like, you need to take that dog with you as much as possible with you,
100%.
where he knows, hey, I'm going with Dad. We're going hunting. We're going to hunt something, and we're going to sit there for 3-4 hours
Yeah,
and ride back.
yep, yep. I remember I
But
had Shatta in the back of the truck one time. We went down to a convenience store. We were in College Station, and this lady came up and kind of asked the same deal. And she went to pet her, and I said, "Ma'am, you know, I'm just going to ask you not to pet my dog." And she goes, well, I'm just, I'm just trying to be nice. She's such a pretty girl. I said, I understand, man, but you may be nice. And I fully believe that you are, but somebody may not be nice. So I don't like the fact that you want to now. And then I walked her over, and like let the tailgate down. And then I stood right there and I let her pet her. But like some people are weird about that but dogs get stolen like that all the time. Like I don't want her to be too defensive, like, growling at people or nothing like that. But just like sometimes you don't have to just pet every dog or do it a certain way.
No, for sure. You're supposed to ask for permission. You just don't go pet a random dog, especially out in public. Because I take dogs. Like I've been to Tractor Supply 3 times this week. We go there and we work dogs in public for customers. So people ask all the time, "Can I pet that dog?" And I'm like, "You can, but this dog's in training, so let me get it
Yeah.
to sit, to stay, and as long as he's all cool, calm, and collected, all 4 feet on the ground, you can pet him. You control the terms, and because you don't know what you're handling. Because we do aggressive dogs, we do dogs with severe aggression, and they're getting rehabbed, but they still got to go through these processes, getting out in public and socialize to get because when dogs get behavior like that, like how I said, some dogs get make straight A's, C's, and D's, and then some just can't get right and they're institutionalized because of their behavior.
Yeah.
And then people get to a certain point with that behavior, and then they just put them up or they give up on the dog. So he learns to manifest that behavior through his environment. So getting him out and seeing people, it's good for the dog. And then they go, wow, I cannot believe that's the same dog I dropped off to you 3 weeks ago. Because a dog becomes a product of their environment. So getting them out, but it's also, controlling that, not letting random people come up and pet your dog. In some cases, your dog's running around, whatever. Like when the morning times when we're guiding hunts, I get to the gas station, meet everybody there, all the clients there. The first thing I do is let my dog out, and people are showing up, and I don't even know where he's at. People are petting him over here at this truck. They're like, whose dog is this? Oh, that's mine. Sorry. They're eating kolaches and breakfast tacos and stuff, and he's sitting down in front of them. I'm like, God dang, damn dog, dude, get over here.
Yeah, don't be begging right now. Yeah, looking like he ain't been fed in 3 weeks.
Oh man, yeah, he gets a pack of powdered donuts every hunt.
Heck yeah, man, that's awesome. Yeah, you got to have something like a little treat, to give him when you're taking him out hunting and stuff like that.
Yeah, every hunt, even if he's in the water, if we're in the marsh or something, I still give him powdered donut.
Heck yeah. Yeah, so you said y'all deal with like some aggressive dogs, and I'm of the same mind where like it's all about that dog's environment. But like, I've always been interested, like what's kind of some of the steps that's I guess different than what you would do with like I don't want to say a normal dog, but I guess a dog that wasn't in that kind of environment.
Well, usually when we're dealing with an aggressive case or something of that instance, we go to the client's house because that's where the dog's going to show their true colors. Usually, if you're out in public or you deliver it, in the front yard or at the gate, the dog's going to show you a different demeanor than in their actual den. Think of a pack mentality with these dogs. So that's their den, that's their comfort zone. They're going to protect that. They're going to actually show you those true colors. And this is no bullshit, man. I've seen it happen over and over and over again where we go to these dogs, and by the time the owner hands my mom the leash and she walks out of the house and puts a dog in the car, she's petting on this dog. It happens all the time. And it's just getting that dog out of that environment to where, she's seeing some more stuff and getting them to the house. The next step would be getting them to the house and really just put them in a kennel and become their friend. So you can't just go straight to training on no aggressive dog or anything like that. You got to become their friend, and that takes time and a process. Sometimes it's a week, sometimes it's 2 weeks before you can get in there and really handle one. And once they become to trust you, like don't bite the hand that feeds you, it's like a light switch, man. And one of the best things about a board and train program that we do is we have customer dogs. So when we let all the dogs out, they're all running loose together. and all them dogs running together, different breeds, different sizes, not little dogs and cane corsos and chihuahuas,
Yeah,
all the same,
yeah,
pretty much all the same size dogs. Them running around, establishing their own little pack, their little pack dynamics, that does more for the dog's psyche than me ever hooking a leash to it and doing something with it.
that makes
I
sense.
mean, when you watch dogs that have dog aggression problems and they want to run up and to everybody while their owners are walking down the sidewalk, well, when you actually unclip them off the leash and put them loose with a bunch of other dogs, they're like, shit, I'm not as bad as I thought I was.
Yeah,
And
there's
they're like,
that. Have you seen
they're
that
like,
video? The one that's like barking through the screen or like the glass window. It's like a little bitty
no.
dog barking at a pretty big dog through a glass window, right? And it's just
Yeah.
going crazy at it. And then like the person walks up and slides the glass window open, and the dog just like stops. And just the little dog that's barking just like stops and looks like,
Yeah.
yeah, you're
No,
big and
I
bad
mean,
now, but get off that
yeah,
leash.
most of them are all bark, no bite. Like I said, we've dealt with a lot of aggressive issue stuff, and every one of them's been rehabilitated. Not all of them you're going to go take, to the park or something like that, but
Yeah.
they all leave with better than when they came, and that's the main goal.
Yeah, they can go and have a good life as a pet rather
Yeah.
than being in the situation that they were in. Man, it's
Yeah, and it's really, and dude, it's not the dog. It's not the dog. I mean, sometimes you'll get dogs that are overstimulated that do show a little aggressive side, but it's the owners that don't have the knowledge of how a dog works and how their mind works and the breed of the dog, and they don't understand that when Fifi's growling and they're going, it's okay, baby, it's okay. They're actually feeding that temperament. They're
yeah.
they're nurturing that so that dog is the product of their environment. They don't understand that, and then when you take that dog away and you tell them that that's different, you have to. I can train any dog to do anything. It's training owners is the hard part. It's educating owners. Once they, oh, that's why they do that, and it's like a
Yeah.
light bulb flips with them too. And then once they understand and they understand why their dog reacts the way they do, it all makes sense. And that's my take on that. Really is educating owners. As once you get to them, that's what gets to the dog.
Yeah, because I mean, like you said, there's all the dog wants to do is please you, and once they figure out how to do that, then it's like, okay, this is what I need to do. And when you're, like you said, you're reinforcing that bad behavior because you think you're doing something right, like, and it's completely opposite. It kind of lends you to going to a bad place with the dog. But good thing
Yeah,
there's people like you to help them out.
Yeah, and that's why obedience. That's why our bread and butter is obedience, is because where we live at, they're building subdivisions everywhere, and we think it's a bad thing, but I'm thinking, hell, at least every other one's going to have a dog.
Yeah,
And most people get a puppy, and by the time it's 6, 7 months old, they're starting to losing control of it, because and that's when they start, and that's about the age where they really start coming. If I got to train a dog and I pick my age, I want it as a puppy after they've had their shots, had all their rabies shots, about 15, 16, 17 weeks old, somewhere right in there. That way you can positive reinforce a dog instead of having to go from here and go down.
Yeah.
It's showing them what you want this way and praise this way, or otherwise it's, corrections and negative reinforcement the other way. So that's why I tell owners, don't wait till you lose control before you get your dog trained. Start them at a young age. And you can do that at home just with, just demanding, what you want out of your dog, and what you put into them is what you get out of them.
Yeah. And all it takes is like a little bit of time. And most of the stuff, especially in my experience now, like most of the training that I did with my dogs is when I feed them. Okay.
Yeah.
So starting out, we're going to sit, and we're going to stay, and then I'm going to release you to eat. Like that simple thing just transcends to everything else. If you're running around, I can tell you to sit, stay, and just kind of move and do what we need to do from there.
Every dog owner would do that one thing right there, they'd have a well-trained dog. Because like you said, you got to have that foundation. And it starts right there as a puppy. And you can do all that before it ever gets to me at 15 weeks old. You can do that at 7 weeks old.
Yeah.
You can that dog can be sitting staying at 7, 8 weeks old easy.
Mm-hmm.
And by the time it gets to me, it's already been a month of sit stays before it gets to me. And then that's when I get a dog and I'm like, man, this is going to be a bad little sucker. Because you knew what you wanted out of your dog.
Yeah.
You know? But as they get older, I mean, don't get me wrong, they all get to where they need to be at. It's just different styles of training to get them to where you want them to go through different ages and lifestyles and breeds.
Mm-hmm.
But they all end up being where they need to be at.
So I know you like labs, and we're gonna get back to that in a second. Other than labs, what's your favorite breed? I guess like when you see one come in, or y'all get a customer that's bringing one in, and you're like, "Oh, cool! This is neat. Like I love these dogs."
Cane Corso. I've between golden doodles or some type of doodle breed, varying between all types. I mean, just how Bubba Gump said, how many types of shrimp there are. There's that many types of doodles. And doodles and cane corsos are my most popular breeds. Now cane corsos can be like those GSPs to where you'll get some that are more on the timid side, some more that are submissive, and you'll get some that are really outgoing. You'll even get some that are aggressive as puppies, and it's fear aggression. It's not temperamental like, like I want to come at you provocatively. It's fear. They're more fear aggressive.
I want to make sure I can protect myself.
Yeah. And they all come around too. Like I got 2 of them right now. I got to go pick another one up on tomorrow at 5:30 in Lake Jackson. I got to go pick up another King Corso. And the reason why I like them is they're big, they're pretty. They're like a lab. Labs train so well, and King Corsos train well too. And just being a big breed, having a 150-pound dog that sit down, heel, come, stay, place, leave it. You can leave them laying here. I train football players' dogs that stay at the barber shop. And
I saw that on your Instagram.
They lay there. I mean, it's badass when you got a big old dog like that minds very well. But it's more of the trainability. They train really well.
Okay, that's pretty. Yeah, cane corsos would be pretty cool.
Cane corso. I did and I've trained all types of dogs.
And with the doodles, is it? I'm guessing it's the poodle side that's like the good thing in them, or is it just like whatever they're crossed with? They just create good puppies, I guess.
Yeah, it's the poodle. They're bred for the hypoallergenic, where they don't shed. But if you don't do a straight cross, an F1 golden poodle cross, after that, they start shedding. They start breeding them into different stuff. So they still shed to an extent, but that was what the whole fad was about it. I remember when my mom worked at Man's Best Friend back when I was 13, I think. I had community service, and I had to go clean dog kennels for community service. So I had to, back where she started cleaning kennels.
You were right there with her.
I was doing my community service there. And I remember her showing me a Labradoodle. And I was like, what's a Labradoodle? And she's like, it's this new breed. I mean, this is it's longer than that. This is probably 2002, 2003.
Yeah.
And that was the first time I ever seen a doodle. Now, hell, we breed Aussie doodles. And ourselves, we got a stud dog out of my mom's house.
Yeah.
Poodle that she studs out. There's that's by far our most popular breed. Like there's 3 of those there now. 3 cane corsos and 3 doodles.
I got you. Cool. So when you started your like gateway was your duck dog and starting with that, did you know then that you wanted to do this and like start taking on other clients, or like you said you would like get stuff because of training with him and everything? Was that like, how old were you exactly when that happened?
Well, when COVID hit, I started training professionally for a living. And my prior experience was, just every now and then I have a buddy that have a dog problem. They go, "Hey man, I'll give you a couple $100. You fit, get my dog to mine and $300 here. I keep the dog for 4 or 5 days." They'd be like, "Shit." And when I went to college in Wharton, there were some bell racers, and she was like, "Can you teach my blue heeler how to mine?" I was like, "Yeah, for a case of beer." First dog in the train was for a case of beer, and Wharton. But I could always train a dog. I could always handle a dog, like I said. And during COVID, my mom had really started taking off. Everybody was buying puppies and getting puppies, and they were,
Mm-hmm.
everybody had a little bit of money. And
Yeah, and some
I'm a
free
welder
time.
I'm a welder by trade. I've been welding since I graduated high school. Everything I've ever done has been in that industry. And but we were making like 18 hours a week. We were still essential employees, but still for COVID, we could still go to work, but we got reduced hours. And I'm like, man, this ain't worth it. Driving all the way over here just to work 18 hours a week. And she called me and she was like, "I need help. I got 15 outside dogs. I need help." I was like, 50-50. And she was like, "No, we ain't doing no 50-50." Oh man. She gets my ass every time I bring a dog over there, man. Uh, I wish it was 50-50. But
Right, that's
no,
funny.
and I told Luis, I said, "Load my box." He said, "Where you going?" I said, "I'm going to be a dog trainer." He said, "A dog trainer?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "No, I need you." I said, "No, I gotta go, man." And I left and I ain't looked back. And during that COVID time, 2020, 2021, or whenever that was, when it started, like the first 6 months into is when I started. And um, man, we'd have 18 dogs. I mean, everybody had a dog. And we were training dogs left and right. And it's progressively slowed down a little bit over time, but we still stay steady to where our training, our the quality of training is great.
Yeah.
Back then, not back then, but when you do carry too many dogs, you do get to get not being able to pay attention to each one as much as you would the other. So we like to keep it around 10, and 10's good.
Yeah, yeah, heard that, man. It's just like I got buddies that train horses and stuff, and it's like same
Yeah,
thing. Like you get too many horses, you can't ride all of them.
yeah,
Like you can't
yeah,
you
no,
can't
yeah.
spend the time that you need to with every single one of
Yeah,
them. And
yeah.
and
And there ain't you send a horse off for 90 days. You like, that motherfucker rode that horse in 90 days. He probably got 15 days on her back out of 90.
yeah,
No,
yeah,
yeah, when you get that many, but no, since COVID and dog training's really, like you said, going back to Reed. Uh, I did him before. I trained him up before I was a dog trainer. That
yeah,
was, 2 or 3 years into his life. And then in 2020, I guess he had been 2 years old at that time. He was my demo dog from there. But
yeah.
like that dog's been hunting since he was 7 months old. Teal season, he was going everywhere with me his whole life. I don't think I've hunted without him. I may
Heck
be
yeah,
lying, but there might be a handful of times I've ever hunted without my dog.
yeah. Once you start, it's kind of hard to not take them or not go do
Yeah,
something. Yeah.
yeah,
So
no,
is
for
that
sure.
about the same time you really started like really hunting pretty hard and doing the contests and stuff like that too?
Yeah, on the duck hunting side, back in COVID, I really started contest hunting these predator tournaments and hog tournaments just 2 years ago, 3 years ago,
Gotcha.
just out of boredom, really. Being a dog trainer, you get to work for yourself, so like that's opened a lot of doors for me. Being able to drop my kid off at school in the morning, pick her up on the car ride line, and she youth rodeos, all over the state of Texas every weekend. So I'm able to go do those things with her that a regular 9 to 5 job wouldn't allow me to. So I'm forever grateful for the dog training and my mom teaching me that.
Yeah.
She'll be glad to hear that. Because otherwise, I remember beforehand coming into my driveway at 9 o'clock, going, "Man, what's today? Is a trash day. It's 9 o'clock at night. I'm just now getting home from work. Been there since 4:30 in the morning welding."
Yeah.
And And then it was like, and then boom, now I do what I do, and I train during the day, which I spend 4 or 5 hours at it a day, and then at nighttime I'm walking around like, oh, I dropped my phone. Hold on. I stomped my feet. Hold on. I I had you in
Just
my
let just let
I
you
had
know
you in
this
my
isn't the
blog
first
pod.
time. This ain't the first time this happened. Don't feel bad.
Well, I got the my ball head on my tripod.
Yeah.
My gun is stripped out. It don't stay tight. So I got it
That dude,
balancing up there.
that I've heard that so many times from guys about those tripods. Not to change the subject, we'll get back into it, but
Yeah,
I just like that's always something that comes up. It's like they always get stripped out for some reason,
yeah,
and it's not one brand, it's not one manufacturer, like
yeah,
it's across the board.
yeah. No, yeah. Mine at the time I had this big old heavy Creedmoor on there that I was shooting coyotes with and lugging it around, and I'd cinch it down real tight and throw it on my shoulder, and I'd walk out there. So I could imagine what happened to it, but I mean, it still gets the job done.
Heck yeah, heck yeah. But yeah,
But I
like you were
forgot
saying,
what.
you were getting back into like really hunting around that time and everything, and then you said
Yeah,
you got to where you can take your kids to school and all that kind of stuff, which is
yeah,
I, I
yeah,
think
yeah,
I think for a lot of people our age, especially after COVID, it's kind of like, especially if you have kids, it's kind of switched to people. More people are realizing like, hey man, like maybe I should be doing this, or like maybe I can move or change my
yeah,
career or do something to be
yeah,
able to do that kind of stuff. Because
yeah,
before we had Haston, I saw this video of like, it said how many hours you spend with like from when your kid's born till they turn 18, like how many hours you like a parent spends with them. And it's been like on a steady decline since, I don't know, since
yeah,
we were kids pretty much. And it's just like
yeah,
it's less and less time you spend with your kids for one reason or another, work, sports, whatever's going on. But like if you're not there, like who's really teaching your
yeah.
kids, and
No, no, for sure.
but
And that
yeah,
and
the fact
that's
that you get to do that is like is really cool, and it's kind of what we're striving for too, man.
yeah, and like Tatum, she's like I shot my first band with her. She was 4 years old.
Oh,
She's
dude.
got one on around her neck that I got with her at our farm in Rocheron. She wears that one to school. Nobody knows what it is. I said, don't you ever let nobody tug on that necklace.
Right?
She's been she's
That's
been
so
she's
cool.
been hunting with me, and like you said, COVID, getting all that free time thinking, and I trained that dog, and everybody I'd hunt around, even my buddy T-Bone Taylor he's like, you need to be a dog trainer. I'm like, man, I ain't being no dog trainer. I always, honestly, I always thought it was feminine. You got a puppy, come here, you got to
Yeah.
talk to these people, and and then once I got over that,
Yep.
once I got over that, because you got to relate to people, you got to relate. You're selling a product, and your product really speaks for itself. So you don't really got to do too much selling. You got to be able to relate,
Yep.
and being able to relate to customers is is the selling point, I guess you could say. The
Yeah.
product is the product. It is, that's what it's going to be. There's a not like they come out as a robot, but there's a goal, and we're going to get to that goal. But being able to relate to customers, um, but yeah, rambling on, but yeah, hunting started really during COVID and getting all that free time, and still hunted when we were kids, but through work and duck season, and I done lost 2, 3 jobs behind duck season. So, you
As a
know,
good duck hunter should, as a good
I
duck hunter
done,
should.
I done lost, yeah, and one relationship. Uh, Luckily
That
my
that
wife loves me now, and she don't mind.
Yeah, I'm lucky too because Meagan knows that like I love hunting and I love fishing, and if I can make it work, I'm probably going. So this is
Yeah.
what you married.
And no, me too. If I can make it work, I'm going. And like I said, the more and more we hunted, the more and more free time, and we'd spend doing different things. And then once you get good at doing something, and you want to try something else, and then try something else, and I got groups of friends, different, all over the place that invite me to go places, and all because I had a good dog. You know, I got invited up north to North Dakota my first time behind a dog. I got lots of land that I get to hunt behind a good dog. And like I said, it opened so many opportunities for me, that one dog did. Uh,
Oh, dude,
but
that
that transpired my hunting, going out there to my farmers and killing hogs for him and killing coyotes for him. And I grew up trying to kill coyotes my whole life with the light, with the mag light and the 17. Never successful. It always, the day I got a thermal, it was game over. And it was game over. They didn't stand a chance. But that's how I got into that, was going to my farmers and going out there and killing coyotes for them and hogs. And then it just progressed. And then, I shot thermal for, the past 3 or 4 years now. And I still love to do it, don't get me wrong, but I'm a houndsman by heart. I'm born and bred with dogs. I just
yeah,
love to see a dog work.
yes,
You know, they'll tell me, "Hey, Chance, bring your gun." Sometimes I forget it on purpose. And we don't give the dogs a chance, because
yeah,
when you get a thermal, you damn near need 1,000 acres to hunt, because you can see, oh, there's nothing
yeah,
here. Go on to the next spot.
yep,
You don't even give your dog a chance to hunt. So how it's hard to teach them. You know. But no, I enjoy running dogs. That's what I've been doing a lot here lately.
yeah, man. I
Uh,
saw a couple weeks ago you've been hunting those contests pretty hard.
yeah, we got another one coming up this weekend. We got to drive down to Dilly, and then weigh-ins up in by Tyler, and so it's gonna be a lot of driving, a lot of hunting. No, we'll down here ain't that bad. When you get over there, Austin's up in Dilly and them cactus, man, man.
Yes,
I
sir.
wore I wore my buddies. We went a couple weeks ago. I wore some chinks, some leather chinks, but
Yep,
Jaden, I'm 6'2". Jaden's like 5'2", and these
they're a
some
little
bitches didn't
short.
fit me, man. Yeah, they was tight. But he also sent me with some shoeing chaps. Some of this, he's a horseshoer,
Yeah,
and those work good because you run through them cactuses and stuff. But the moment you turn around and back up against something,
you're done.
man. Oh man. And all of us from down here on the team, we complain the whole time. Oh shit. And the other guys, they're drinking beer, got hey dudes on, blue jeans and a blue jean shirt, running right through that shit.
Yes,
And
sir.
don't even phase them. And we're like,
No.
yeah, Daddy, you don't got nothing in you? And it's like, shit. Man.
Yeah, that's
So
how it was
I'm looking
in
forward to it,
Goliad,
but
man.
I ain't looking forward to it. God dang, that's
I
rough
hear you,
country.
man. Oh, dude, yeah. You get out west, it gets pretty bad. Like Goliad, we got cactus thickets and stuff like that in Goliad, and like going through that stuff. We were in high school hunting, running around. Like it's like even in the summer, like some people would come down there and they're like, "Why are you wearing a long sleeve shirt in the summer?" And it's like you'll find out here in a
Yeah.
second.
Yeah.
You'll find out here in a second. That t-shirt ain't gonna last too long, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, my first time we went to Mason, so we went with Austin up there. And as soon as I opened the truck up, I looked out there and they was all in leather boots on. And I thought to myself, why they wearing all that? And I opened up the door, I took one step out, I have my Crocs on, and boom, I hit a thorn this big, first step out the truck. Wee.
Yeah.
And no, so I come prepared now. I come prepared now. Yeah,
Yes,
so
sir.
we,
Yeah.
we do gotta we so yeah we gotta hunt this weekend. I've been itching to go hunting all week long, but we're trying to save our dogs, so I'm over here stir crazy.
Yeah, you want to keep them, be able to run
Yeah,
all weekend because y'all gonna be
yeah,
hunting.
yeah. We're gonna be hunting. We'll start here Friday in Angleton, and then hunt all day Friday, and then drive 5 hours to Dilley, and hunt all day there, and then go to weigh-in. And them dogs, they'll hunt. They'll get
What
down.
what kind
They're
of
wore
dogs?
out.
What kind of hog dogs you run?
Man, um, I got. Listen to this. My best dog is a half black-mouthed cur, half GSP. Because he's going. He's busy all the time, running around doing his own thing. He's three-legged right now. He's about to have to get his leg cut off. He had a bad pad injury and it never healed up. So we're about to go get that, take him to Shiner here in a couple of weeks, get that going. But yeah, cur dogs, got a couple walker crosses, a couple hounds, a couple trail walkers, some fox runners.
Yeah, yeah, a little
A little
speed to
mix of
them,
everything, really. A little mix of
dude.
everything, man.
I got you.
We just start, if it barks at a hog and wants to take a track, we can take it.
Yeah,
And no
100%.
we don't discriminate. If it's black and
No,
white, got spots, no yellow dog purist over here.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I like yellow dogs too. I like Catahoulas.
But yo,
Like
me too.
oh, dude. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's some bad ones out there. It takes you a while to find some good ones, but once you do, like, that's my favorite dog. I will forever try to keep a Catahoula or a couple of them for sure.
Yeah, my buddy had one that was his everyday dog that he shoed with, Josh. His name was Bit. And, he was an everyday dog. Go to the grocery store with him, come in the house, sleep in the bed. If you want to take him hunting, send him to the woods. He's gonna come back with a hog. He'll be bait up. I mean, he was
Yeah.
that good. It was just a good old honest, do anything, work cows with him, whatever. And he was a full-blooded blue Catahoula, and that was a good dog. So I've always compared. That was my comparison. If it was like Bit, that was a good dog,
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. Everybody's got that one, especially for different things, of course. But like, you got
yeah,
that one. It's like, they were a good dog, and if they can get to that level,
yeah,
then
yeah.
they're
There's
doing all
one
right.
out there for sure. Yeah. No, and I got a. I guess he's 10, 11 months old now. He's a glass-eyed dog. He looks Catahoula. I don't know. I got him from a guy named Danny Westbrook. He's a Westbrook hound. Back in the 80s, he crossed some walkers with some cur dogs, and he's bred that line since the 80s,
Mm-hmm.
breeding his own stuff back and forth, and uh, a jam up puppy, jam up. But if you look at him, you think he's a Catahoula.
Yeah,
But
but he's got
but he
got a little bit of everything.
he got a little bit of everything in him, but ain't supposed to be no Catahoula. But he ain't spotted, but he got a little bit of spots underneath his red coat. But his blue
Yeah,
eye got a blaze. He got so you can kind of see the walker in him. Good dog, real good dog. Pink mouth. Um, but yeah, I really got no particular favorite breed on that. But we got a little bit of everything, even all our buddies. Man, we
nice.
give everything a chance, honestly.
Yeah, and I
We give
know
everything a
when we
chance.
said for the listeners, we were saying Austin earlier. We're talking about Austin K. If you don't follow him on Instagram, you should definitely go check out his page because he's got some real nice dogs. Real nice dogs. Remember when I first
Oh
started
yeah.
talking to him, he was
Oh yeah.
showing a video of some puppies he had. And I said, "Hey man, I was kind of looking for a puppy at that time." And he's like, "Hey man, what's it gonna take to get one of them puppies?" And he said, "Oh no, these are all staying on the yard." And I said, "I believe it."
Oh yeah. No. Yeah, he breeds all his own stuff, and he's got some good dogs. The first time we brought him down here, up there it's dry, sandy, cactus, rocks, just treacherous up there. And his first time down here, he said, I've had this buggy for 2 years. I ain't never put this motherfucker in four-wheel drive. Well, it's mud, mosquitoes, and the salt grass. He ain't never seen nothing like it before. Man, his dogs are great. His dogs work great. But him coming down here to our country, he was like, shit, and our dogs, when they go up there, they come back look like porcupines got them, cactuses all over them, and his dogs just bust right through there. Our shit's tiptoeing like, oh, what is it? Oh, god dang. And his shit's just blowing and going. No,
man,
he's got a three-legged dog, and the way she moves, that's why I want to get mine. Go ahead and get his leg amputated. That way, it'd be better for him because that don't slow her down one bit. Probably good for her. Slow down a little bit.
Right. My coach, one of my coaches in high school, he ran hog dogs, and he had some pretty good dogs too. Like going with him, I got to go with him a couple times, but he was our track coach, and that man, he had a pretty big family. He had like 6 kids. They all ran track at different A&M, UT, all these places. Him and his wife ran track at A&M, but he had a 3-legged dog, and it was like 3/4 greyhound and like a quarter pit.
Yeah.
Yeah, like this sucker would move.
A lurcher. That's a lurcher.
Yeah, he was one of the first guys. Well, not that I knew of, right, or in our area that used greyhounds and like bred them in like that.
Sighthound,
But he ran those dogs, and that 3-legged dog was like his best dog that he had for a long time.
Yep. Yeah, my mom, the first dog I had when I was a kid, when I was too little. We had a 3-legged Rottweiler named Skid. And he was fully protection trained, wouldn't let nobody in the house. He was a full-time yard dog. Don't let nobody walk. Mailman scared to come with the mail. 3-legged dog named Skid.
Oh man, that's cool. Yeah, I've always liked Rottweilers.
Yeah, I said I've been around every breed, man, from the little ones to the big ones to hunting dogs, exotics, shit from overseas. My mom bred dogs. And I breed labs too, but all her stuff was imported from overseas. So she'd go get these European line Shepherds and Dobermans that were different than these American lines and show different characteristics and qualities. So we've always been in touch with bloodlines and breeding and what makes a good, not to us what makes a good dog, what we're looking for.
Oh yeah, I mean I listen to Dixie Doggers podcast.
Yeah,
I don't know if you've heard theirs, but they got a really good podcast, and they get into dogs. Well, I mean it's mostly dogs that they do, and he talks about Joey talks about how he would go and bring dogs over from Europe to kind of get some of those lines that do their job as far as like a lot of the working dogs and stuff like that, because fortunately or unfortunately, however you see it. The breeding of dogs and show dogs have kind of taken some breeds away from, what they were meant to do.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's just nature of the business,
Yeah.
But like going and getting those breeds that still work and still train and do their job is pretty critical to like having good dogs.
Yeah, I mean, I got a perfect example. I trained at 7 months old. He's a Ridgeback. And she got him imported from South Africa. The daddy was from Israel. The mama was from South Africa, the breeder, and she got it imported from over there. I trained this dog at 7 months old and badass. I mean, look real gamey, body built nice. And I'm like, that's a good looking dog. Ridgebacks are a little rough, but just for, a game dog, I mean, he was good looking. One of the best ones I ever seen. And, I said, if you ever don't want this dog, you better call me. And she called me about 2 weeks ago. Chewing her couch up, runs around the yard, paces around the backyard. She lives in a 2-story house in the suburbs, and she's got this imported Ridgeback named Benson. I call him Benny. And she's like, we have to hook a leash to him, and we got to hook it to the couch at nighttime. Otherwise, he'll bark all night long, walking around the fence in the backyard, around the swimming pool.
Oh, so, man.
I mean, I ain't gave him his shot yet, but I'm waiting for him to give me a shot. But I would really like for him to turn on. But he comes from a working line, but bred into a pet home.
Yeah.
the daddy, the Israel dog, looking at the papers was a working line, and this lady over here was more on the show side, or the pet side. With the daddy, so that's where he gets his looks from and his demeanor.
Oh yeah, dude, they're pretty cool. I've heard stories about like how they. Oh, you're good. Like I've seen there's a World History of Dogs, a page on Instagram, and it's like world.history.dogs. And they posted this picture a while back of this girl in South Africa, and there was like a story with it, like an article that they found somewhere where she was walking and she had 3 Ridgebacks with her, and that's how they would walk around, to keep because there's lions.
Yeah, yeah, no, for
and,
sure.
and everything else. But like that's what those dogs were like there for, and working too, of course, and livestock and all that. But like they were protection dogs from lions.
Yeah, I mean they are like South Africa's yellow black-mouthed cur.
Yeah.
I mean they bay, they hunt, and they get rough, but that's just the nature of the breed.
Yeah,
But
my buddy Pete in College Station had I think she was 3/4 Ridgeback and a quarter black-mouthed cur, puppy named Tammy.
Yeah.
And dude, she was one of the coolest dogs ever. She was a good cow dog and all that kind of stuff, but she was just like a big old like just a big old lap dog most of the time.
Yeah.
But like when you load her in that trailer and she'd go catch cows, dude, she was solid.
Yeah. No, for sure. But yeah, that's a good example of it right there. And I got him, so hopefully he turns out. Give him a chance. He's only 11 months old, man. He's huge.
Oh yeah, he'll have a shot.
How much turned a year old. Man, I'd say he's probably 75, 80 pounds now.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking because they're pretty big dogs, man.
He's big. When I had him, he was probably 50, 45, 50. Lean. I'm talking about this sucker's lean.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you can see his flanks. You can see all of his muscles in his legs. Yeah, he's a good looking sucker. But
yeah, you definitely have to pick him up.
Yeah, we got a busy weekend this weekend hunting.
Heck yeah, man.
And you say, like I said, running these dogs, coyote hunting, do that for fun. And then we tournament hunt and do that stuff too. Like anything else, there's politics in it. So, I try to hunt not as often, I guess, but hunt pretty often enough to where I stay busy doing something every night. But now when bird season's around, no, it's strictly birds. Or from November to February, strictly birds.
I hear you, man. Yeah, that's how most waterfowl guys. That's how it is. I feel like a lot more waterfowl guys are like strictly waterfowl. Like I'm sure there's some crossover, right, for the diehards, I guess. But like once you're into waterfowl, that kind of takes your whole mind.
Oh, it does, and like I said, I met my wife when I was crazy about it, so she ain't got no choice but to accept all the things that I do in Kentucky. We go to North Dakota every year, and like I've missed her birthday the past 5 years in a row. We go every year in October, and so she still loves me for it, but like she lets me go because she knows I'm gonna find a way to go anyway.
Right, 100%, man. Well, what's kind of? Go ahead.
Go ahead. Now you go.
No, I was gonna say like, what's kind of like? I know you started a couple pages and stuff on Instagram, and like now you're what's the new one that you have for your company?
Elevated Flight Outdoors.
Yeah, Elevated Flight Outdoors. So like, kind of what's your goals, man? Like, what are you trying to do? You're trying to go more. Obviously, you said your obedience is your bread and butter, but like, are you trying to go more to the waterfowl side, or kind of what's the deal on that?
Yeah, being a dog trainer, I'm actually able to kind of be flexible with my schedule, so I can not take so many dogs in during the wintertime when I'm actually guiding and doing that. So I'm able to kind of not one more than the other, which dog training is, what I do for a living, and the bird stuff just feeds my own habit,
Yeah.
But yeah, doing that with elevated flight, me and my buddy Cameron, we decided it's like, man, we hunt so much for ourselves, just hunting 3-4 times a week, and the people want to go hunting with you. So we were like, well, why don't we just take this farm, in which Cameron had a farm, and that's how we started it, was we put some boards in, caught some water, and the ducks came. And we were like, well, shit, there's too many for us to hunt. So, we've always took buddies. We've always buddy hunted. It's not like we didn't do that before. That's how we got into hunting to begin with, was all buddies. But we were like, well, hell, we go broke all season long getting ready for this. Why don't we make a little bit of money at it? So we decided to start a company and give it a name. The first year we didn't have a name. We just kind of see how it would work and guide on our own stuff. We were pretty successful at it and had repeat customers the next year. And the past 2 seasons, it's been kind of dry down here, so water's been a big issue. But the cranes are always here. They've been coming here for decades. So this past 2 seasons, that's really been our bread and butter, is cranes. Our main focus. This season we did real good. Last season we did it even better. But it's been a good time doing that, and that's kind of what we've been focused on, taking more lease property, finding more farmers, finding more ground, being able to run more clients and get them on quality hunts. And especially for down here, where we're from, the Gulf Coast, pretty much anywhere else you got to drive to Lubbock or maybe Katy or Ocampo or somewhere like that. So down here in the Gulf Coast region, we're just trying to do something different than everybody else, and take that North Texas, how they hunt up there, big parties, big groups, and bring that down here.
Yeah, man, that's pretty cool. Like you said, just putting your own spin on things, because you don't hear about crane hunting, like you said, down on the Gulf Coast. I mean, you hear them. I heard some the other night when I was down in Goliad, and I was walking outside to get something out of my truck, and I could hear them going across there, and I'm like, dude, you never would have thought, like, there's cranes down here, but you just got to find the places where they are, or create the habitat and everything, and get them there, because they're a fun hunt. I've never been on it. I've just seen videos and stuff of West Texas hunting them, but yeah, dude, I've had it before. It tastes delicious, but like I want to go hunt them.
Yeah, my buddy Cameron really got me into it, and I don't know what it is. I just like fooling an animal, and they are the one of the hard. Besides a coyote, them cranes, they're hard to hunt, and if you don't got the right hide, and we play the wind and the temperature and everything, it all comes down to it. You're not just going to go out there and take 15 guys out there and shoot a limit, just being a Joe Blow. You actually have to study it and do scout weekly, times of days, when they're leaving, why they landed where they landed, and build this data sheet all season long on the best places to hunt. And I fell in love with it. And really what started me in that, which was going to North Dakota my first time.
Okay.
Going there and learning how to dry field hunt was a game changer. That was whenever time I go to North Dakota, I don't even bring a decoy. I bring everything for the field. We got water at home. We're gonna go hunt these fields up north. And that's where I fell in love with dry field hunting. So being able to dry field hunt back home for geese and cranes here, that's what I love. Like I put my waders on one time this year. Yeah.
That's the kind of waterfowl hunting I want to do.
Pull up on the buggy, drop everybody off, bust up some A-frames or pop some layouts out or whatever we're going to do. Everybody hop on the trailer and ride back to the truck. You know, I just fell in love with the dry field hunting and the scouting that's involved with it. You know, I put 30,000 miles on my truck this season.
Oh,
And
I believe it.
that's scouting. That's driving in the morning, looking at birds, seeing where they're coming from, watching them touch down, letting them sit there for 2, 3 hours, watching them fly off, coming back home, getting lunch, working 4 or 5 dogs, going, shit, it's 4:30. I gotta haul ass. Driving 45 minutes over to the field to watch them come feed in the afternoon. You know, it's a net, and once it starts, you can't stop. Because if you miss a day, you can't, you know, you got to be
Your
able to give your
data's messed
clients the
up.
best. Yeah, you got to be able to give your clients the best opportunity. So you got to go, and it drives you crazy sometimes, man. You know, it runs you ragged.
Yeah.
But I
Oh yeah,
enjoy every
dude.
minute of it. I enjoy every minute of it. You know,
Dude,
calling
I
cranes
can
in, and when
definitely
they
tell.
come in, and when they do it right, and they do it dirty, and then and usually majority of the people you're hunting with ain't never been crane hunting. You know, I have repeat customers, which, you know, they always bring more and more people every time they come. But I've never shot a crane before. They just think that that's the coolest thing in the world. There's a
Yeah.
and their feet fucking cocked down and kill them out front. Oh, it's incredible. I mean, and that's why we wanted to do, and that's why we hunted, you know, bigger groups, which is the birds that we were hunting. You know, there's hundreds of them, so sometimes thousands, but you know, and we didn't want to go kill our spot off taking 3, 4 people. You know, like we're going to do it how they do it. We're going to have the biggest crane hunt south of I-10, and that was what we try to do. And so ever since then, we're running 15 guns, sometimes more, sometimes less. You know, don't get me wrong, but
Yeah.
we're making it work, and it's been pretty successful. And you
Heck
know,
yeah.
having that dog, like I said, having that dog open that door, never seen a crane before. I mean, he's awesome. I sold puppies off of him, you know, from a crane hunt, specifically a crane hunt and a goose hunt. And he's a natural at it. He was you know, I tried to put some goggles on him the first time, and man, he didn't make it 10 foot, man. They're still sitting up there. He took them off. He never needed them. Boom. He's a full blown tack mode,
Yeah, I got
which
it.
and you know he's 8 years old now, 7 years old. As he gets older, I tell people every year, I was like, damn, the older he gets, the worse he gets. This time, the more ornery, the more he wants to do it his way. You
Yeah.
know, like look back at you like, what are you gonna do? You know,
Yeah, I've done this a
and
time or
not
two, Dad.
yeah, 9 times out of 10, he's usually right. You know, like man, there ain't nothing over there. Why you keep going over there? And then, sure enough, like, damn, you're right.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
Well, man, that's awesome. I love hearing that and the whole story and everything. And Meagan told me, she's like, you're gonna enjoy talking to him, just all the stuff he's done. And it's cool to hear people, and that's the reason why we have the podcast, is just to talk and tell stories and get people's story out there. And you know, obviously, if listeners want to go on a crane hunt, hit your boy up.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
But
No.
it's been cool, man. I'm glad I got to have you on the podcast, and we'll have to definitely do it again, because I
No.
can
Yeah. For
tell
sure.
just by talking to you, man, you really love what you do, and it's a part of you. And you know, just congratulations on everything you've done so far, and you keep killing it. Because
Yeah. Y'all too, man. Like I said, I've watched y'all start too, and I enjoy the process. Like you doing your podcast thing, I always thought that'd be something cool. This is my first time ever, you know, speaking on a camera like this, this is my first time ever putting earbuds in my ears. And you know, I feel like the next time around it'll be a little more better too, you know. But
oh yeah, you get
but you
better every
doing
time.
this gives me a little bit more inspiration to public speak, you know. So that's what I'm taking from this too, you know. I'm able to, and which just goes on to my everyday career, being able to speak in front of people and connect. So
Heck yeah,
that's
man.
kind of what I like to do. I'm usually the storyteller out of the friend group. They're like, oh shit, Chance is telling a story. Like, oh damn, that boy is lying. Cover your ears.
Yeah, and Megan's the same way with
Yeah.
me. Like we'll be getting ready to leave, or we'll go somewhere, and I'll see
Oh,
somebody I know. Like it never fails. I always see somebody I know, and she's like,
oh, wife's the
we
same.
just, we just can't go anywhere without you seeing somebody. I'm like, I
Oh
know.
man, that's why you can be and doing things like this and hunting and going and traveling and meeting people from Canada to Mexico, all over the place. And you walk into a random restaurant or bar and they go, "Hey, I know you," and then
Yeah,
oh shit, you realize you do, and it's happened time and time again over my life, all behind not necessarily just hunting, but socializing and building a network, which is what all this is behind. All your hunting behind and your guide
yep,
business and your dog training is building it, which now it's all a social network. So it's being social with people and networking and doing these things and going and talking at the park and doing demos for people. So it was a pleasure to do it.
I can tell, dude. Like I said, I feel it like in your voice, like you enjoy what you do, and it's good to hear when people do that, because it's not every day people get to do exactly what they love for their
Yeah,
career. Like
no, for sure.
I get to shoot guns for my job. Like tomorrow we're going to the range to test suppressors. Like if I'd have told myself at 12
Yeah,
years old, this is what you'd be doing,
yeah,
I'd be jumping up and down. And like sometimes
yeah.
you got to
That's
think
crazy.
about, you got to think about that stuff too, especially when it's like,
No,
I really don't want to be doing this, but like, dude,
yeah.
you're doing
And
some cool stuff.
yeah, and then that's where the dog training, that's why I'm so grateful for it, is if I would ask myself then, am I going to be a dog trainer? I'd be like, hell no. I wasn't even but it's helped me out tremendously with the free time and the financially, it's a great living. And
Yep.
just by doing that, I'm able to afford to go places and do things and it's I'm grateful. So let's just put it that way. You speaking on it makes me really realize how much it does, how much dog training in particular has done for me in my life, and not only that, just my family's life in general, for being around, not being being gone all the time or traveling out of town when I was working out of town on the pipeline, and being able to be home and be present. So it's been a real good ride.
Awesome, man. Well, any way that we could help, like you said, we can come down and hunt, shoot some content, do all that kind of stuff. Any way we
You're
can help
welcome
out, man,
anytime.
and we'll be glad to do it for sure.
Well, then you go ahead and plan something in January to come down here.
All right. Sounds good. I will, man. I will. Well,
All
Chance,
right.
dude, glad to have you on the podcast, man. And I'll drop your link to your page and everything in the show notes so everybody can go check him out. Give him a follow. If you need some dog training, holler at him. If you want to get on some crane hunt, give him a shout too. Not on the weekends we're going. Don't be booking up everything. But
We're hunting on the weekend.
but give him a shout, guys. And thanks for listening to the podcast. And Chance, thanks for joining me tonight, man. It was awesome.
I appreciate you guys. Thank y'all.
Yes, sir. Peace.